folks, Ariel over here. Today I wanted to do a little, I guess, tip on a way to save money. I've done kind of a series of posts on the blog over the years of different little things that I do personally in life to reduce the amount of money that goes out of the household and therefore allow me to have more freedom to spend time or money doing other things. But I haven't done a whole lot of that on videos. This was actually something I did blog post about several years ago, and I'm still doing the same thing, but how I take care of my hair. I'm not a professional hairdresser. I'm making no pretense to be, but I have been able to learn to cut my own hair, and that, at least in my area, certainly saves a good bit of money versus the price of having somebody else cut it. And one of the things I did want to address is on that blog post, one person who was a hairdresser commented that, you know, something like that's terrible. That's how some people make their livelihood. Yes, anything you do that reduces the amount you expend in cash is somebody's livelihood. I don't foresee that either me or this video are likely to reduce all of the women or men who want someone else to cut their hair for them to an exponential amount. But yes, this is true. I clean houses for a living. I would also recommend that if you want to save more money and have more freedom to do other things with your cash, that you not pay me or anyone else to clean your house and do it yourself. But that is how I make my living, and so if everyone, you know, that's part of it. If everyone decided to clean their own houses, I would have to do something else. That's true. I don't think it's likely that every single person is going to decide that, because there's obviously factors other than money. Sometimes it's time or convenience or other things. But anyway, this is one of the things that I do, and again, I'm not a professional hairdresser, and maybe if you are, you think my hair looks terrible, but it works for me and I'm happy with it. And so this is what I've been doing for years. There is... I have a lot of male friends who cut their own hair. It's fairly easy if you're going just really short. And I think the other fairly easy is if you have fairly long hair, at least where it comes, you know, down long enough where you can see your hair and see what you're doing. In between styles, I think would be a whole lot more difficult probably to do on your own. You know, if it's some length that's not real short, but also not long enough for you to actually see it well. But that's probably possible too. And everyone likes different styles and what they like. I like something that looks long and natural. And the only reason I trim mine at all is to keep my, you know, bangs, which I like because I have kind of a high forehead, which I just don't like that look. So to keep my bangs from getting fully into my eyes, and then the ends, I never actually want it shorter. I just get, you know, split and broken ends over time, especially in the winter here. My hair probably looks a little staticky today because it is very dry. It has been very dry. It's not been above freezing outside for, yeah, months basically, and my hair texture, though, you know, just the way it naturally is, it gets a little more straight and staticky when it's very dry, and if it's very humid it gets a little bit more of a wave to it, so it's kind of got an in-between texture. But what I did was I looked around for tutorials on how to cut long, slightly layered hair until I found somebody else's hair who looked approximately like what I wanted, and then I watched what she did. So the lady whose tutorial I've been following for a long time, and apparently I'm not the only one, because I just see she's almost at 26 million views on this video. I don't know how she pronounces her name, so I'm probably going to butcher it, or maybe it's not even her name. Her channel is called Sheetal, S-H-E-E-T-A-L, and I have been some part of those nearly 26 million views because every time I go to cut my hair, I rewatch her little tutorial. And she has luxurious, thick, dark hair that doesn't look anything like mine. But she does a pretty clear little step-by-step how-to, and that's what I've been following for years, and that's how I cut my hair. The first thing I do, though, and the only reason I'm not in the bathroom, which is right there, is that I really did try playing around this morning. There's no good way to get me and the camera into that tiny bathroom in any way that would let you see something. So the first thing I do is my bangs. So I'm going to have to do some stepping in and out here so I can see myself in the mirror, and then show you what I'm doing. But the way I've done bangs and learned from other people is to, in the kind of the front, to make kind of a V like this. If I get this together, let me see. So you can probably see this shape kind of goes in a V up there, and that is my bangs. And mostly they hang to this side, though a few hang to this side. So if I want them to go to this side, this seems backwards to me still. I don't know why it works. But if you pull them the other direction, and I use a very sharp little hair scissors, I'll link to the closest one I can find. I'm not taking off much here. That's just like a ½ inch or so, because that is where it's grown down into my eyes. And then I use the tip and just point cut up just a little bit like that to kind of smooth it out so it's not a hard straight edge, and that seems to work pretty well. See if that's short enough. That's, you know, one of the nice things if you're doing it yourself, just take a tiny little bit, because you can't put it back on, and see if, you know, is that short enough, or is that still going to hang in my eyes? Now, if I pull it straight down, it is, but it always swirls off to the side. So I think that's pretty good. And the more I handle my hair, the more static it gets, because the air is so dry in here, so I have to kind of moisten my skin a little bit, though mine gets so limp if I make the hair actually wet to cut it, which some people prefer, that it just doesn't work well for me. The other things, if you're curious, I'll also try to link to these down below. This is a wooden hairbrush and a wooden comb. That's what I like. So I'm going to then give myself a guide, because I do kind of like longish layers. I don't know what as staticky as my hair shows up, but this is exactly, she's going to show you, you know, if you watch her video much better, more clearly how to do this. So I'm going to do kind of just a bigger version of that V I did for my bangs, and she doesn't do bangs, so this is very little hair. You can see the bangs kind of stop there, and it's very little hair that comes down here. And I'm just going to take the very tippy ends off of that where they look, you know, broken and split, and that gives me just enough to have a guide on the two sides. So then I'm going to just part my hair kind of back the middle, which is where it naturally falls. And yes, my hair is lighter on top and darker underneath. That's because my hair naturally bleaches in the sun. Somebody told me that's not possible. It must be done by a salon. They did a really nice job because, you know, you can see it's lighter on top and darker underneath. And I was like, yeah, that's actually, you know, from the perspective of my human head, the sun is on top of me when I'm outside. And so that's how it bleaches. Just like anything else bleaches out in the sunshine, the top bleaches more. I actually went to a professional hairdresser once in my life, in my teens, with two of my good friends, when we all donated, well, a foot or more. I think I donated the least because both my friends have much longer hair than I, but anyway, we donated that to Wigs for Women with Cancer, and that was the only time I've ever been to a professional hairdresser. Anyway, we're pretty well into winter, so some of the dark is growing out more and the bleached is getting down to the ends. That's what happens. Let me check if my part's kind of straight. That's good enough because my hair doesn't fall in the exact same place every time. So I've just put 1/2 into a band just to keep it out of my way for now. And what I'm going to do is take I usually do this looking in the mirror the whole time. Take maybe about 1/3 of that hair in kind of a straight line down the side and comb it straight out to the side. Now this is where I got to go look in the mirror again. Somewhere right in here, it's probably too fine for you guys to see, but especially if you have thicker hair, you'll see the guide you cut, and I'm going to cut these tips. Again, just getting rid of the ends of, then I point cut them a little bit to soften that edge out. You know, the ends that are split and broken, because that's all I'm trying to get rid of. I'm not trying to make it shorter. That's not my goal. Then I'm going to take like the next 1/3, again kind of combing in a straight line down. This is just approximate. I'm going out, and now I can definitely see I don't know how well you guys can see because I have to turn it where I can see it, but I can see the line I cut on the last 1/3, and I'm going to go just a little longer than that in the next 1/3. This is what's, you know, like maybe 1 inch lower. This is what's going to kind of give it a little bit of a layering, and again, I just point cut in there, and I'm just taking off the tips. I'll show you when I'm done here. That's why I'm catching it all in the sink if I can. How little hair I've trimmed off total, because I like my hair as long as it will grow, and it just gets And there again, I've brushed it out and I can see where I cut the last strip, and so I'm going to go down on the very last third and take those split ends off and do the same thing. So that's one side done, so I'm going to switch which one I'm holding out of the way. This seems to work well for me and what I like, and that is probably a good chance that your hair is different, has different textures, and you like it to look different and want to do something entirely different. But you can probably do, if you're interested in learning to do something like this for yourself, or possibly with a friend. For a while, my one friend and I would cut each other's hair. We didn't do our own because I guess neither of us had gotten that good at doing that yet, but we did do each other's before I started doing my own. But you can probably find somebody out there who has a style, something like what you want yours to look like, and who does a tutorial on how to make that happen. And again, if you just take tiny little bits and then look at it, I'm not doing nearly as much checking in the mirror as I once did, both because I'm filming this video and because I've been doing this for years and years now, and I'm fairly comfortable with my process of how I'm doing this. So again, I've just done my 1/3, now kind of my 2/3. And there, I don't know if you can see that clear. Here is the line where I cut my last one. Here's the next one. I'm going just about 1 inch out, and I have such fine light hair that it's not, it's more difficult to see than somebody like the tutorial I follow. She's got this thick dark hair, and so it's easier to see on her hair. She's got more of it and it's darker. Now I'm going for my last third and taking those split ends off, because these ends do split up further into my hair, I find, if I don't do this I do this every 3 or 4 months, so 3 or 4 times a year. And that seems to just keep it, you know, where I can brush through it easily, comb through it easily, not have, see already I can feel the difference this morning. One of the things that made me realize I needed to do this is when I go to brush it, everything would like catch down at the end because those little ratty ends start to tangle up on each other. So now, to double check that I've got everything even, I kind of split it again and just look at it. Again, my hands get so, our skin gets so staticky. Let's just see if this looks even. I gotta look in the mirror because I don't know what you're seeing. As I look in the mirror, it looks like I got one little bunch of there that seems to stick out further than everyone else, so I'm just gonna trim them off. And a couple little ones on that side. Now, both the sides should look pretty even. Looks good to me. Brush it all out. And then I do like to check with, you know, holding my hand mirror and looking in the bigger mirror to just see if it looks like it lays evenly in the back. So again, I don't know how it looks to you right now. So that works for me. Like I said, my hair looks a little straighter and a little frizzier in very cold, dry weather like this, and gets a little wavier when the air has more humidity in it. And you can probably see the darker hair underneath and where the sunlight had bleached it out on top. But that's it. That's done. That's how I trim my hair. Won't be doing it again for another many months. And there's all the tools I use. One of these little soft elastic scrunchies whenever I do need to hold my hair. That's what I like best. Again, because my hair is so fine and delicate, a lot of bands and clips and stuff will actually break the hair. So these I've found to be pretty gentle, and my hair does get a lot less staticky using things like these wooden, wooden comb and wooden brush. And again, they're more coarse, which seems to work well with my fine hair. I actually have, this is an actual boar's bristle brush. This is more the kind of thing that was used growing up, but my hair is too staticky. I know some people have success with just brushing like 100 strokes a day with something like this, and it makes their hair very lovely. I think mine's too fine and delicate. It just makes mine balloon up, like if you ever saw a little kid with a a balloon rubbed on their hair to make it static up. That's what this does to mine. So it still sits in my bucket in here, but I never use it. And then one of the keys, if you're going to cut hair, and this one's really old, it even has some rust spots on it. I've had this for, oh boy, 12 years or something, is a good sharp scissors that cuts nothing but hair, because otherwise you'll mash and damage those ends if you don't have a good sharp cutting edge, and actually make it worse than the broken ends I'm trying to cut off. So because if you ever use this for cutting paper or anything that's paper is made out of wood pulp, it's harder than hair, it will dull it. So this is very specifically only ever used for cutting hair. And I think I paid $8 maybe for it years ago at a local store. I think last I looked online, you can get them for like 10, 12, 14. Prices, of course, everything have gone up, or at least the money value's gone down. But they're not terribly expensive, and I've been using the same one forever. I cut Clay's hair, I've cut other friends' hair, with them, so it's not just been mine, but they're very handy, and that's everything I use. Oh, and if you want to see here, that is all the hair I've cut off. That was all those ends. And again, you know, I'm not going for trying to shorten my hair. I'm simply going for, you know, tidying up the ends so it's not tangly and messy and splitting and breaking further up in. So that's it. That's how I cut my hair, take care of it. I will try to link to these things down below if you're interested. I'll try to link to her video. And again, obviously I'm not the only person who likes her tutorial, but that probably has no bearing on what kind of hair you have or hairstyle you like. But there probably is somebody out there who's done something similar for whatever you like. So don't be scared to try it. Again, if you just take little tiny bits off at a time. Lots of other women I know cut their hair at home. I don't think I actually personally have any friends who go get professional haircuts, but obviously lots and lots of people do, because I also know people who are hairdressers and they seem to stay busy. So that's wonderful. But this is one of the things I do because it's simple, it's quick. If I'm not filming the video, I'm done with this in like 5 minutes. And so like I said, that's, you know, 15 or 20 minutes total out of my entire year to cut my hair. And keep it trimmed up and looking the way I personally like it. And that's less time than it would take me to get to town once to get to somebody who could do it for me. You know, much less the drive back or any of the other trips in the year. So that works out well for me, and I just thought maybe it would inspire some of you with ideas for other things you could learn to do yourself and not need to earn more money to pay someone else to do for you. And if that's not your thing, go to your lovely hairdresser and tell him or her thank you for their work, and have a great day. Over here at Fineth, thank you so much for watching these videos and spending some of your very valuable time choosing to do that. We hope you found something that was useful, educational, helpful, maybe save someone else some time and trouble, or just something just plain beautiful. If you don't want to miss any videos, subscribe and hit the bell. And thanks for coming along on our journey as we build a new little homestead with our tiny house and everything to come.